Now, I'm thrilled to invite our first guest to the stage, Lacey Filipich, who is a dynamic entrepreneur and visionary leader known for her approach to business and commitment to social impact. With a background in technology and marketing, Lacey has leveraged her skills to create transformative solutions that drive positive change. Lacey's passion for empowering others and making a difference in the world serves as a driving force behind her endeavours, inspiring those around her to embrace innovation and embrace the potential for meaningful impact. Please put your hands together for Lacey as she makes her way to the stage. Thank you.
Hello everybody, what a delight and an honour it is to be here. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I grew up on Turrbal lands in Meanjin, otherwise known as Brisbane, and moved west 20 years ago. And I'm sorry to say it, Meanjin, but you just can't beat the Derbarl Yerrigan. You can't beat the beaches on Noongar Budja, and so I'm never leaving. You're stuck with me. I would like to express my gratitude to the Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation for caring for this land for tens of thousands of years, and it's their work that means we have this bounty of natural beauty to enjoy. I would like to pay my respects to Noongar elders past, present and emerging, and I am really grateful for the work that they have done. While I'm talking about traditional custodians, I'd like you to keep in mind the stats you're looking at are an average. Women like me, so white, cisgender, neurotypical, heterosexual and able-bodied, we get the happy end of the bell curve of all of those. Indigenous women, women of colour, neurospicy women, differently abled women, immigrant women, trans women, lesbian women, they all experience the same financial handicaps that we do, but often to a much greater degree. And they get more added on top. When we talk about counting her in, we must count every her in. We need to especially focus on those groups where being a woman intersects with something else that's not the norm to make sure we accelerate quickly. But you can consider that built into the inclusiveness of this year's theme. I really wish I could have bottled the happiness that I felt when I saw that theme. I would have got me through the rest of the year with that bottled happiness. And then, of course, I remembered why we need this day and why we need this theme, and that's when I needed the bottled happiness. But today I'm going to do something you might not expect. I'm going to make the case for why financial education is not the solution you're all looking for. Now, before I do that, let me point out, I am a financial educator of 14 years experience, and for me it is a calling, it's not a job. I've built my business and reputation out of teaching people, especially women, about money. So invest in women ought to be a gift from the heavens, really. And I'm only saying that so you understand I do not say the following lightly. And don't worry, the black slide's intentional. I need you to listen to this. This is important. Even if I could teach every single woman in the world every single thing that I know about money, it wouldn't close the gender pay gap. Even if I could make some fancy AI that did all your money stuff for you, even if I could upload my money brain into yours, if I put you back in the same environment, we'll still have a gender pay gap. To be absolutely clear, I'm not worried about tanking my business by saying this. People will still buy my book, you'll still buy my courses, because women can and must play the hand they've been dealt to the best of their ability while we have a gender unequal world. You cannot, ladies, afford to be lax with your financial skills. But it is a slippery slope between upskilling women and telling them to reuse their tea bags to keep themselves out of retirement penury. That's not a joke, that is a real example from Vic Super, one of 315 tips they published for women. We want you to get good at this, ladies, and to do that we want you to go without. That is why I'm not up here preaching financial education today. Telling women to upskill just shifts the burden onto their shoulders. Ladies, it doesn't belong there. This is not your problem to fix. You are not the problem. The system we live in is the problem. We need to fix the system, not the women. Further, telling her to be better with money is actually an exercise in futility, and I'm going to demonstrate why. You would have heard this number quite a bit, 21.7%. The gender pay gap according to the Workplace Gender Equality Agency. Now, men average $1,390 a week before tax. Women average $1,092 a week. When you take tax out, what hits their bank account is $1,122 and $887 respectively. Now, let's take out living costs. That's about $877 a week. Now, I haven't broken that down by gender because guess what, ladies? We don't get a gender discount on our tax or on our groceries. We have to pay the same amount. And I would actually bet a wad that women pay more than men do because brands are notorious for taking something, pinking it and shrinking it and charging us more for it. Whether it's razors or pens or even superannuation, buy Verve Super, ladies, or get the identical product from the gender-neutral parent company for lower fees. We all get the picture, right? You can see I'm a bit worked up about this. What's left over is the money for future them. That's the money that they're going to be able to save, to invest, and achieve economic empowerment. And we're going to call that available savings. That for a man is $245 a week. For a woman, it's $10 a week. That gender pay gap of 21.7% equates to 96% less capital to deploy. I'm calling that the Gender Available Savings Penalty, or GASP for short, which works as an acronym and a verb here, hopefully. That penalty means he can save 24 times faster than she can. Think about the impact of that for a house deposit, or voluntary superannuation contributions, or buying some shares, and that's just 1 year. Compound that up over a lifetime and you begin to see why we have a whopping retirement gap. The GASP is the number I want you all to think of whenever you see that 21.7%. Mentally replace it with 96% less savings to cushion financial shocks, 96% less opportunity to invest, 96% less voluntary super contributions, because that's what it means. The gender pay gap counts her out of potential investing and saving almost entirely. I can't teach a woman to save and invest when that's all she's got to work with. This is why financial education is not the silver bullet. We have to fix the problems that caused it if we want women to have enough money so they can achieve financial security. Now, just in case you think it's impossible, hopefully you've all seen the WGEA data. Everyone had a good time when that came out on the 27th of February. I spent my whole day glued to the computer. And I want to reassure you, of course, that we can close that gender pay gap. It's been demonstrated by companies such as Chartered Accountants New Zealand and Pet Circle. So Chartered Accountants Australia and New Zealand have a total gender pay gap of 0.5%, which is considered negligible, and Pet Circle has a total gender pay gap of negative 0.9%, which means it's actually slightly in favour of women. So we can point to people and say, we know how to get this done. Now, often when I do this, I start to get the responses. We've all heard them, haven't we? Oh, of course we can do it, but not right here in my organisation and not right now. We hear things like, it's complicated and we can't afford it, or my favourite bugbear, that's going to take some time. Now, my response to that is to share the eternal words of former Sex Discrimination Commissioner Kate Jenkins AO. Change does not take time, it takes action. You only had to look at our response to COVID to see an entire universe effectively mobilise in weeks. If this was important enough, we could fix it this year. I put it to you that the action we need to do that's not actually financial education. It's changing the systems, processes and the behaviour, particularly of leaders in those workplaces, not changing women. I'm going to be very specific, and I appreciate the men in the room being here I'm sure you're here because you care about this, and I'm probably preaching to the converted. But I'm trying to give you this so you can take it to the barbecues, take it to your sporting teams, tell your friends and family. Here's the changes we need. Men and leaders need to take on more of the paid and unpaid caring load so we can kiss the motherhood penalty goodbye. So you can be held. Thank you. So that men can be held to the same ridiculous expectations that women are, and we all agree it's time to get rid of them. That's what I'm hoping for, okay? It's totally self-interested, but also good for everybody else. We also need men and leaders to be allies and upstanders in every workplace so that women feel safe everywhere they go. You can't stand by silently. Your silence is your consent, and it makes you complicit. Men and leaders need to achieve 40% female representation at every organisational level where there are decisions being made to make workplaces welcoming and inclusive for women. Now, there are causal factors between financial education and the outcomes women achieve, but they are dwarfed by women having to do too much unpaid caring, feeling unsafe, and feeling unwelcome, so they count themselves out of these workplaces. So ladies, please, do not let any organisation get away with doing anything to upskill you in your negotiation skills, your financial capability, and label it as gender equity. Yes, they should do those things. They need to do those things. But it's not going to fix the gap, and claiming that it is a furphy. I wish I had more time to explain to you why and how to do those 3 changes, but we have a limited time today. So instead, I prefer to leave you with some reasons to count her in. And they're all directly beneficial to you, and that's right. It's not just moral rectitude and bragging rights that you get if you close the gender gap. There's some benefits in it. First of all, you'll be happier. The research shows very clearly that the more equal a society, the happier everybody is. So guess what? That means even Twiggy and Gina will be happier when we're gender equal. So if anybody knows them, please do pass that on, okay? There's nothing that they're going to lose by all of us being more equal. We'll all be happier. The second one is, and this one is a bit of a financial one, you reduce your typecasting risks. When one person's typecasted the breadwinner and the other one's the homekeeper, and suddenly their earning capacity drops, when the breadwinner suddenly can't work, made redundant, been sick, it has a massive impact on the family. You have to cut huge amounts of expenses. And by making sure you both maintain a reasonable earning capacity, it means that you've got that risk covered and you share the benefits of that equally across the partnership. The third one is you'll have more empathy for each other. Now, I didn't look for the research. No doubt it's out there. This is a personal experience. My husband and I have each had 5 years being the primary carer. We trade regularly. And I still remember the first time he came in when he took over and with a crying baby on the hip and a toddler screaming at him and said, "I don't know how you did all this." Of course, I smiled and closed my office door. No, it was tempting. No, I mucked in. Of course I did. And we do that for each other now. We help each other out because we've got a lot more compassion and empathy. And yeah, sure, some marriage counselling was required, but we got through it, okay? I really recommend it. And finally, you'll have better sex. That one is researched, not by me, okay, but I'm pretty sure that pretty much everyone who wants gender equity can call themselves a feminist. Feels like a safe bet. So for those in the room at Optus Stadium, I have brought some business cards with me that have that Kate Jenkins quote on one side and they have those tips summarised on the other side. I'll leave them at the desk out the front if you'd like to grab one. For those watching online, I will post those slides online so you can have a look at them later. If you've got something out of your presentation today, please do tell me about it. I did have a QR code up there before, but it's popped off. There's no email or name collection. I'm just curious to hear what you thought of it, get your feedback, and you'll get a gift from me in the form of a risk management strategy. Let's invest in women by fixing the systems that hold them back. Let's make it possible to count her in. Thank you.